Have you ever wondered if something as simple as your breath could hold the key to healing your body and mind? For thousands of years, ancient monks, healers, spiritual teachers have believed that the breath is far more than just air. It's a gateway to balance, clarity, and inner peace. Today, modern science is finally catching up, revealing that the way we breathe affects everything, from our nervous system and immune response to our emotional stability, and even the way our brain functions. Most people breathe unconsciously and incorrectly every single day, slowly disconnecting from their own body's natural ability to heal. But what if, by simply changing how you breathe, you could unlock a powerful hidden force within yourself? In this video, we'll explore the mystery of breath and why mastering it might be the most transformative thing you ever do for your health. Breathing is the first thing we do when we enter this world, and the last thing we do before we leave it. Yet between those two sacred moments, we forget how to breathe. Most people don't realize this, but the way you breathe right now could be silently affecting your mood, your focus, your immune system, even your lifespan. In the ancient world, breath was never just air, it was life force. The Greeks called it pneuma, the Hindus called it prana, and in the Bible, the breath of God is what gives man life. In Zen Buddhism, breath is considered the anchor to awareness, a tool to awaken from illusion. The Taoists believed that mastering the breath was the key to mastering energy. Even Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, wrote about the healing powers of controlled breath. Somehow, ancient wisdom knew what modern science is only beginning to rediscover. So, how did we forget something so vital? Modern life changed the way we breathe. Stress, poor posture, tight clothing, hours hunched over screens. All of it leads us to breathe high and shallow, using only a fraction of our lung capacity. Instead of breathing deeply into the diaphragm, most people only fill the upper chest with rapid, anxious air. This triggers the sympathetic nervous system, the fight-or-flight response, sending constant signals of danger to the brain. It's no wonder anxiety, insomnia, and chronic fatigue have become epidemics. But here's the turning point. Your breath is also the one system in your body that is both automatic and controllable. You can't choose how your liver functions or how your stomach digests, but you can control your breath. And by doing so, you can send a completely different message to your nervous system. You are safe. You can heal. Clinical studies are backing this up. A 2020 paper in the journal Cell reports, medicine found that just 5 minutes of daily breath training significantly reduced blood pressure and improved vascular health. Another study from Stanford University's Huberman Lab shows that controlled, slow breathing, especially extended exhales, activates the vagus nerve, reducing inflammation and calming the amygdala, the emotional center of the brain. In other words, your breath is not passive, it's powerful. It can shift you from survival mode to healing mode. It can lower cortisol, balance hormones, and even affect gene expression related to longevity and immune resilience. And perhaps most importantly, your breath reconnects you to yourself. In every spiritual tradition, breath is the doorway to presence. In every scientific study, it's the bridge to regulation. It's where the ancient and the modern finally agree. How you breathe is how you live. So the real question is, if you could change your entire state of being by simply changing the way you breathe,
why wouldn't you?
For centuries, breath was considered sacred. Today, science is finally catching up. Not just to confirm what ancient wisdom long knew, but to quantify it with precision. The more we study breath, the clearer it becomes. This simple, often overlooked act is a direct key to how your body functions. Not metaphorically, but biologically. Let's start with the autonomic nervous system, the master controller of your stress and healing responses. It has two branches: the sympathetic nervous system, responsible for the fight-or-flight response, useful in emergencies, but harmful when constantly activated. The parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode, the only state in which your body can truly repair, digest, detoxify, and regenerate. Here's where the magic lies. Most bodily functions under the autonomic nervous system are involuntary. You can't consciously slow your heartbeat or reduce inflammation just by thinking about it. But breath is the only exception. When you breathe slowly, deeply, and rhythmically, especially with longer exhales, you manually switch on the parasympathetic system. That means you send a biological signal to your body. I am safe. You can relax. You can heal. This isn't theory. It's been measured. A groundbreaking study from Frontiers in Human Neuroscience demonstrated that just 10 minutes of slow diaphragmatic breathing per day led to significant reductions in cortisol, stress hormone, and improved emotional regulation. Another trial published in Psychophysiology found that slow breathing at 5.5 breaths per minute created coherence between heart rhythms and brain waves, a state associated with focus, calm, and resilience. Even more striking is research from Stanford's Huberman Lab, which compared several mindfulness techniques. The study found that cyclic sighing, a breathing pattern involving a deep inhale, followed by a second, shorter top-up inhale, and a long, slow exhale, was more effective at reducing anxiety than traditional meditation. Why? Because the long exhale triggers vagal tone, stimulating the vagus nerve, the most powerful channel of the parasympathetic nervous system. The vagus nerve runs from your brainstem down to your gut and touches nearly every organ in between: heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, intestines. When it's activated, it slows your heart rate, reduces inflammation, and increases the production of acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter critical for rest, sleep, digestion, and cellular repair. That means that every slow, intentional breath you take is not just calming your mind, it's altering your entire physiological state. Even chronic illnesses, such as hypertension, digestive disorders, autoimmune imbalances, and depression, are now being studied through the lens of vagal dysfunction and nervous system dysregulation. And breathwork is emerging as a frontline, non-invasive, zero-cost therapy. But perhaps the most fascinating discovery is this: breath isn't just reacting to your emotional state, it can change it. You don't need to wait to feel better, to breathe better. You can breathe better first, and your mind and emotions will follow. You can use breath to interrupt a panic attack, to fall asleep faster, to prepare for surgery, to release trauma, to boost your immune system, and to shift your perception of pain. The breath, in essence, is your built-in healing technology, ancient, intelligent, and always accessible. You don't need to buy it. You don't need a prescription. You only need awareness. Long before science discovered neurons, hormones, and neurotransmitters, ancient spiritual traditions had already placed the breath at the center of human transformation, across cultures, continents, and centuries. Breath was never seen as merely a biological necessity. It was the sacred thread connecting the physical, mental, and spiritual layers of being. In Sanskrit, the word prana means vital life force, a subtle energy that flows through the body and animates life itself. In Chinese Taoism, it is known as qi, the universal energy that circulates through the body's meridians. In Japanese, it becomes ki, the same energy channeled in practices like Reiki and Aikido. And in ancient Hebrew, the word ruach simultaneously means breath, wind, and spirit. Even in Latin, spiritus, the root of the word spiritual, literally means breath. Every great tradition, regardless of language or geography, recognized the same truth. To control the breath is to touch the soul. In Buddhism, breath is the very first foundation of mindfulness. The Anapanasati Sutta, taught by the Buddha himself, outlines a complete path to liberation. And it begins with one simple instruction: breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. This may seem elementary, even trivial, but in the silence of that awareness lies profound awakening. The breath becomes a mirror, showing you your restlessness, your fear, your joy, your true nature. It teaches non-judgment, presence, and impermanence, all without a single word. In Zen Buddhism, monks practice zazen, seated meditation, in which awareness of the breath is the gateway to Kenshu, the direct experience of insight. The breath grounds the mind in the present moment, dissolving the illusion of separation and identity. In Hindu yogic systems, breathwork or pranayama is one of the 8 limbs of yoga, It's considered essential before one can even enter deep states of meditation. Each breathing technique, whether it's Nadi, Shodhana, or Kapalabhati, is designed to clear the energetic pathways, balance the nervous system, and prepare the practitioner for higher states of consciousness. Even in the mystical Islamic tradition of Sufism, the breath is considered a sacred act. Sufi dervishes practice controlled breath and rhythmic chanting to awaken remembrance of the divine within. But this wisdom was never meant to remain locked in monasteries or scriptures. Its purpose was, and still is, to awaken the ordinary human being, the shepherd in the mountains, the mother in the kitchen, the child afraid in the dark. Everyone breathes. And thus, everyone carries within them the seed of awareness, healing, and inner freedom. What's remarkable is this. All these traditions, often separated by oceans and centuries, arrived at the same realization. When the mind wanders, the breath shortens. When the mind is at peace, the breath flows. Therefore, to calm the breath is to calm the mind. Breath is the original prayer, the universal mantra, the invisible companion that never leaves your side. Not in pain, not in joy, not even in sleep. The breath doesn't just keep you alive, it keeps you connected to yourself, to life, and to the sacred mystery that moves through all things. Understanding the power of breath is one thing, but to truly transform your health physically, emotionally, even spiritually, you must move from knowledge to practice. Healing doesn't begin in theory, it begins with a single, conscious breath. The beauty of breathwork is that it requires no tools, no medication, no belief system. Your body already knows how to do it. You're simply relearning what it always remembered. Let's explore for powerful breathing techniques, each backed by both ancient wisdom and modern science, can activate your body's natural healing response. 1. Diaphragmatic breathing, returning to the body. Most people breathe into the upper chest, especially when stressed. But this shallow breath keeps the body in a low-grade fight-or-flight state. Diaphragmatic breathing, also known as belly breathing, engages the diaphragm, the large muscle at the base of the lungs. It stimulates the vagus nerve, slows heart rate, and shifts the body into the parasympathetic healing mode. How to practice. Sit or lie down in a comfortable position. Place one hand on your chest and one on your belly. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds, letting your belly rise, not your chest. Exhale gently through the nose or mouth for 6 to 8 seconds, letting the belly fall. Repeat for 3 to 5 minutes, ideally twice a day. Benefits: reduces anxiety, lowers cortisol, improves digestion, and restores calm. 2. Box breathing. The warrior's reset. Originally taught to Navy SEALs, box breathing is a powerful tool for regaining control in high-stress moments. Balances oxygen and carbon dioxide, calms the nervous system, and builds resilience. How to practice. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts, hold the breath for 4 counts, exhale through the mouth for 4 counts, hold the breath again for 4 counts. Repeat the box for 4 to 6 rounds. This technique is incredibly effective during moments of overwhelm, panic, or emotional overload. 3. 4-7-8 breathing, the sleep switch. Popularized by Dr. Andrew Weil, 4-7-8 breathing is one of the most effective techniques for inducing deep relaxation, especially before sleep. It increases alpha brainwaves, slows heart rate, and helps quiet mental chatter. How to practice? Inhale through the nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. Exhale slowly through the mouth for 8 seconds. Repeat for 4 to 6 cycles. Use before sleep, during moments of restlessness, or as a transition into meditation. For alternate nostril breathing, balancing the mind. Known in Sanskrit as Nadi Shodhana, this technique is rooted in yogic and tantric traditions. It's believed to balance the left and right hemispheres of the brain, purify the energy channels, and enhance mental clarity. How to practice. Sit comfortably with a straight spine. Use your right thumb to close your right nostril. Inhale slowly through the left nostril. Close the left nostril with your ring finger. Release the right nostril and exhale through the right. Inhale through the right, close it, exhale through the left. That's 1 cycle. Repeat for 5 to 10 rounds. Ideal for emotional rebalancing, mental fatigue, or before spiritual practice. Key principle: the exhale heals. Regardless of which method you choose, longer exhales are the universal key to calming the nervous system. When the exhale is longer than the inhale, you activate the parasympathetic system, allowing the body to rest, digest, and repair. Even without formal technique, simply following this principle, inhale slowly, exhale even slower, will begin to shift your internal state. Create your daily ritual. Breathwork is not a one-time fix. It's a practice, a relationship. Start with just 5 minutes a day. Choose one technique that resonates with you. Do it consistently and observe. Notice how your thoughts change, how your sleep changes, how your body feels. Your breath will become your inner compass, your healer, your silent teacher. In a world that constantly pulls you outward, breath brings you back inward, back to stillness, back to wholeness. Healing rarely happens with a flash of light. It's quiet, it's gradual, subtle, like breath itself. And for many who've walked the path of conscious breathing, the transformation begins in ways so gentle, they almost go unnoticed. Until one day, something shifts. Take Anna, a 34-year-old mother of 2, who had suffered from anxiety and panic attacks for over a decade. She tried everything: medication, therapy, supplements, but nothing truly worked. "I always felt like I was just surviving, not living," she said. That was until her therapist suggested something almost too simple. Try breathing. Skeptical but desperate, she began with just 5 minutes of diaphragmatic breathing each morning. Within 2 weeks, she noticed she wasn't waking up in fear. Within 2 months, her panic attacks had stopped. It wasn't magic, she said. It was like I had found the missing rhythm of my own body. I finally felt safe inside myself. Then there's Daniel, a combat veteran who came home carrying more than physical scars. PTSD had stolen his sleep, his peace, and nearly his will to live. But during a trauma recovery retreat, he learned box breathing, a method the military itself now teaches. For the first time in years, he could close his eyes without flashbacks. His testimony was simple. The breath became my anchor. When everything in my head was spinning, my breath reminded me I was here, that I was still alive. Not all stories begin in darkness. Some begin in silence, like Mei Lin, a 68-year-old woman in a small village in Taiwan. She'd never heard of the vagus nerve or breathwork science. But for over 40 years, every morning before sunrise, she sat by the river and practiced alternate nostril breathing, a tradition passed down from her grandmother. When asked why, she smiled and said, "Because the breath is the only part of life I can truly choose." These aren't rare miracles. These are ordinary people remembering something deeply human. The breath is not just something we do, it's something that does something to us. In moments of fear, we gasp. In moments of peace, we sigh. The body already knows what the mind has forgotten. Each time we return to the breath, we return to ourselves. We peel back the layers of numbness, tension, trauma, and beneath it all, we find a stillness that was never broken, only buried. This is the quiet revolution happening all over the world. Not in hospitals or headlines, but in living rooms, bedrooms, meditation mats, and morning rituals. People reclaiming their health, their clarity, and their peace, one conscious breath at a time. And the truth is, your transformation can begin right now. Not tomorrow. Not after you finish this video. Not after reading a book. It begins the moment you decide to stop. Take one slow, mindful breath with your whole being. No guru, no gadget, no miracle required. Just you, breathing, awake. We've spent the last few minutes exploring something ancient, simple, and infinitely powerful. Your breath. You now know that it's not just about oxygen or lungs or mechanics. It's about energy, awareness, and choice. Yes. Because every breath you take is a message. To your nervous system, I am safe. To your mind, I am here. To your spirit, I am awake. So now, the question is no longer, does breath really heal? The question is, are you ready to return to it? You don't need to change your whole life. You You don't need to become a monk or retreat to the mountains. You only need to begin with one conscious breath. Right now, inhale slowly, deeply. Feel your body open. Exhale longer, softer. Feel yourself return. That's it. That's where it begins. Not someday, not when you're ready. But now, let this breath be your anchor. Let it be your teacher. Let it be your sanctuary in a world that rarely stops. And if this journey resonates with you, if you felt even a glimpse of peace, of clarity, of home, then don't let it stop here. There's so much more to explore. The healing frequencies of sound, the secrets of ancient energy systems, the way your body remembers what your mind forgets. This is just the beginning. So take a breath, trust the process, and walk this path with us. Thank you for watching. If this video touched you, inspired you, or even just helped you pause, please consider subscribing to Satori Nest. New videos on healing, consciousness, and ancient wisdom are coming soon. And don't forget to leave a comment below. I choose to breathe with awareness. Let's begin this journey together.